Hello, welcome to this update for the tropics and the severe weather, a few spots of North America. So let's see. We had a couple of things going on. We have like this big tropical wave in the Atlantic that has raised a high chance of formation. We have a non-tropical area low pressure near the U.S. East Coast with some extra storms as well, and a potential system right developing in the Eastern Pacific. So we might have one in the Atlantic, one in the Eastern Pacific. There's, let's see the European model. True. So it has like that area low pressure near North Carolina with a few storms today. That broad disturbance in the Atlantic that gradually develops maybe into a tropical storm by this weekend and it lifts north into the Atlantic. So better just watch this around the Atlantic, but no immediate concern. It might just head out to sea. So let's see here. We have this area, so it's still not an invest. They might put this in invest soon, but it shows tropical wave over the central tropical Atlantic producing large area disorganized showers and thunderstorms. These numbers will begin to move into more favorable environment for development throughout the next couple of days. And a tropical depression is likely to form by the middle layer part of this week as system moves west northwest toward 10 to 50 miles per hour over central tropical Atlantic. So 40% next 2 days and 80% next 7 days. So this has a good chance to form, but I expect this to not hit the Caribbean. Might head out to sea, but better watching Bermuda just to be sure down the road. So watch there. And here's Tropical Storm Maya. Yesterday morning, I felt like I had a deja vu because it simply vanished and then it reappeared. So it's like a mythical tropical storm, but it's still there off the coast of Mexico, and it's expected to dissipate by Wednesdays into a post-tropical cyclone. So just keep watching for some rip current danger, rough surf there in Mexico, but no immediate threat to land. And there's this other disturbance that I mentioned on the GFS that's headed forming. So elongated trough low pressure located 700 miles off the coast of southern Mexico is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions appear conducive for gradual development of the system. A tropical depression could form by the middle layer part of this week as it moves west northwest or 10 to 15 miles per hour, the central tropical, central eastern Pacific. So still a 20% chance in the next 5 days, next 48 hours, and a 60% next 7 days. So they should remain out in the open Pacific as well. No threat to land. But just keep watching it. Central Pacific had a disturbance here yesterday. I remember seeing something here yesterday, but now it's gone, so they gave up on it. But we'll keep watching. Here are the ensembles from the European model. So in the Caribbean, you're partially safe, but still a few members pass close to you, especially down the road, maybe some future waves. But this wave here is showing it recurving to the Atlantic as the area of low pressure is closer to the Azores now, and then it shows them recurving around it. But better watch it because if something changes, this might pass further south. So just watch it, but still it has a good chance to develop. There's the Google AI model as well, showing like the biggest concentration of members just pass north and go into the open Atlantic. But there are some sneaky ones here trying to sneak into the Caribbean, but this maybe down the road because there's the first system here, far north in the Atlantic. That's the system that's forming now. And then the ensembles have a second wave behind it. So better just watch this, but still no threat. Let's focus on this one now. Like the GFS, it has like everything scared, but it does have this first system now recurving out in a way, but it does have some other members further south possible from some future waves. So better just watch it as well and be aware. Has a lot of support in the Eastern Pacific as well, and some stuff near the Gyre in Central America. So both the GFS and the European have a member or two in the Gulf down the road, but that's like just a tiny percentage of the members, just a figure or two. So don't stress about it now. And once this becomes an invest, we will have more information here. But Now there's just a for Tropical Storm Mayo that's expected to weaken. But one interesting thing is that the GFS takes the low pressure as far north as the seas off of California. Of course, when it gets there, it won't be anything tropical. It'll be just like barely anything, remnant low. But it's interesting. Better just monitor that for some maybe more wind and some rain. And the members of the global models just take it out to sea and it might weaken. So be aware, but this is expected to weaken. There's 98W in the Western Pacific, 99. We're talking future video for Asia, and they do have 92L, and L means Atlantic. So let's see if this is the invest that we are tracking. I think it is, look, because there's the GFS ensembles, right? We're curving north, and there's like, we don't have the global models yet. Like, as you can see, when I always show you like global plus hurricane models, this tab here, because I think this was just named an invest. So the National Hurricane Center page I showed you still had it as a disturbance, but on the last advisory update, it might had they changed it to invest. So. Now they have some intensity models. There are only a few models available as of now, but they already have a tropical storm, potentially a hurricane down the road, but like in the Central Atlantic. The Canadian model that just curves it out in a way as well. So just watch this, but still no major threat. So I think you might have noticed in the US yesterday there were some crazy tornadoes in North Dakota. So I hope you stayed safe, but today is a different story. There's still a marginal risk in North Carolina, Virginia, Minnesota, and spots of Wyoming into South Dakota. And there's a risk of severe weather in Canada as well, in Manitoba into Saskatchewan. Some moderate hail and some damaging winds and possible a tornado or two, but especially like a small funnel cloud, not really a tornado, but like a small probability of funnel cloud. So day two still shows a few strong to severe storms there. In Ontario, day one, southwest Ontario should watch for some stronger storms, and still by Tuesday you should watch some. So Monday through Tuesday. Today's Monday. Day three, not much on Wednesday. So be aware. But this links on the description so you can check the dates better because sometimes it's confusing here. So let's see in the US. There's a 2% tornado threat in North Carolina and Virginia from the bands of that low pressure. So be careful there. Mainly water spout threat, especially if you are in the outer banks. Be careful some water spout threat. Wind in the plains and Rockies and some hail in the northern plains into Canada. So be careful this evening and still a severe storm or two in the central plains tomorrow, some hail and damaging winds. And still later, some scared non-severe storms. No fire threat, but we do have excessive rainfall. So here, let's see. I don't know what just happened there. So here, excessive rainfall shows a slight risk in North Carolina to Virginia. That's today, day one. So just be careful. There's some flash flooding possible. For Tuesday, it's a marginal risk in Arizona, New Mexico, into Kansas, Nebraska, and spots the Carolina still. Day three, by Wednesday, spots in the plains, far south Florida, and around northern Texas, Oklahoma, into New Mexico and Colorado. They fall in the southwest because maybe the moisture left over from Mayo or just some other lingering moisture. Still in Florida, some marginal risk in the plains. And day five in Central California, spots in the Midwest. So day one through seven. A lot of tropical moisture in Florida, still in the Bahamas, close to like 5 inches the 7 day total, as well as in North Carolina. But in North Carolina, it might get to 5 inches already in the next 3 days, like 3 to 5 inches. So there's a greater flooding threat there. Be careful in spots there across the plains in upper Midwest. And interest in California might get its first rain of the season in Los Angeles. It's already showing some rain, so that's good because it has been so dry last few months. And if you scroll down like this, day one, day two, you can see how it evolves. So, for example, in California, there's tropical storm Mayo in the Pacific, and the remnants of the low pressure move north and brings some rain there. So you can see it moving through the Pacific, the precipitation, as well as the storms in the plains. You can see it kind of progressing. So be aware those areas, and shows here still some moderate heat risk in the Midwest and a few areas in California. So be aware, nothing like a few months ago, but still hot in a few locations. So stay safe. For the tropics, does show the rain accumulation still higher around Central America into Mexico, especially some 120 millimeters in Mexico next 5 days, 171, Honduras 113, Nicaragua into Costa Rica 122, and be careful across the Bahamas, Floridas, and across Mexico. Still some late monsoon storms in a few areas, but especially from central Mexico to Panama, some very heavy downpours. Be careful with flooding as well as in South America. So be careful. Some storms in Jamaica, Hispaniola, spots of the Cayman Islands, those usual showers and storms this time of year that you get a lot, and in Cuba. So be careful. The Eastern Caribbean, much less, but still a few showers around the Southeastern Caribbean, but more concentration towards Puerto Rico further north. So stay safe. The GFS is similar thing, especially around Central America. So be careful. And the icon has slightly more in the Gulf near Mexico and spots near Hispaniola. So be aware and like yeah. So stay safe. Those showers and storms. For example, the satellite right now already shows a few storms in Nicaragua, in those areas, and some scary ones in the Caribbean. And late in the afternoon, more might pop across Cuba and Hispaniola. So shows some already the islands, a few storms with lightning. So be careful of these showers and storms. And here are the disturbances trying to develop. So stay safe in those areas. Still shows some mild to hot temperatures there in southern Canada. It's relatively okay. And shows in the US still some 90s in a few areas Fahrenheit, especially in Arizona and California, in the mid-south. So this goes, the European still shows like to 100 in California, possibly Tuesday in Arizona, and like in the Midwest, some May is 90s into Texas, and still there around Ontario, so some 28 degrees Celsius in a few areas ahead of that front with the storms. So be careful. Shows Tuesday, Wednesday, down like in Arizona, California, 102 still on the European, and after that it might start raining. So shows like some May is 90s in the mid-south, and further north there in Canada still some 20 Celsius in a few areas in the north, slightly colder. So does show there in Alaska some 30 Fahrenheit, already colder there as well. So Wednesday, Thursday still might get your first frost or chill of the season in Eastern Canada. So some 0 degrees Celsius, a few spots to -2 in Quebec by by Saturday, and still fluctuates a lot. So does show by like Sunday, the 21st into Monday, some colder temperatures in the Rockies in the US and also in Canada. So does show some negative temperatures, a few spots, especially in Alaska. So some 20 Fahrenheit, 22 there into Yukon, some 0 degrees Celsius to -3, and even colder to -4, and the Rockies in the US. So we'll keep watching and be aware. Still already shows some snow in a few areas, like especially in Canada, into Alaska, shows spots to some 10 inches, spots in northern Alaska, 4 inches, a few spots in the mountains to 4 inches there in the mountains, and in Canada, some 90 centimeters, especially in the mountains, more than 100, and a few spots in northern Nunavut, possibly to northern Quebec and Labrador as well, and spots in the Rockies in Canada and the US. So that shows some 1 inch to like 1 to 2 inches, a few spots in the Rockies. So just watch, but nothing too crazy. So be aware and still be careful those storm season. There's this huge extra tropical cycle there near Alaska, some gusty winds that are on the coast. But be careful, potential gusty winds across Yukon and southern Alaska into British Columbia Wednesday, and dust showers still across potential to Nunavut by Thursday. Spots in British Columbia, still some gusty winds, especially the European. By Thursday, some strong winds like Northwestern Territories into Nunavut and maybe off the east coast of Canada as well. So be aware and we'll keep watching. Stay safe.